Hello and welcome to the 1 Minute Rewatch. I am TCD Witt, and today, if we can agree on anything, it's that the best incarnation of all the DC characters is animated.
Superman was a beacon to the world. He didn't just save people, he made them see the best parts of themselves.
It makes me extraordinarily happy to see that I'm not alone in my appreciation for Superman Returns. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that Bruce Wayne was talking about the Superman from Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice? Captain Hypocrite was talking about a beacon of hope that made us see the best of ourselves.
Let's put our cards on the table here, General.
You're scared of me because you can't control me. You don't. And you never will.
That's a $12 million piece of hardware.
It was.
What does your gut tell you?
Zod can't be trusted. The problem is, I'm not sure if the people of Earth can be either.
Ugh. Does that look like hope to you? Come on, can I see that again, please?
Superman was a beacon to the world. He didn't just save people. He made them see the best parts of themselves.
There we go. Superman Returns is the 2006 superhero film directed and produced by Bryan Singer and released by Warner Brothers Pictures. It's based on a little independent comic book character named Superman, published by DC Comics. It serves as an homage sequel to the Christopher Reeve Superman and Superman 2, while thankfully ignoring Superman 3 and Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Ugh. The film stars Brandon Routh as the last son of Krypton, Kate Bosworth as Lois Lane, Kevin Spacey as Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, with James Marsden, Frank Langella, and Parker Posey. The film tells a story of Superman returning to Earth after a 5-year absence. He finds that Lois has moved on with her life, and that his arch-enemy Lex Luthor is plotting a scheme that will destroy the world. And right now, I can hear some of you rolling your eyes and groaning about this film. Ugh, Superman Returns. But to those people I say, when's the last time you actually saw it? You probably saw it the one time, formed your opinion, and never went back since. Which is the whole point of the show. Go rewatch it. Go ahead. I'll wait. Oh, right. This movie is a beautiful painting in motion. It's slow and atmospheric. It cares more about relationships and characters than action. It's about disappointment and pain and grief and, get this, hope. Ralph's solemn performance taps into the greatest elements of Christopher Reeve. And yes, this entire film is a love letter to Richard Donner's Superman. And yes, that makes it a weird, soft reboot continuation. And yes, the Super Kid was a really, really weird choice. However, cinematically speaking, crafting a pseudo-sequel was a brilliant decision because it saved over an hour of, get this, skipping the origin. Title card at the beginning. Superman's a thing, he's been gone, Earth's moved on, questioning the very need for his existence. This is the most melancholy Superman movie ever made without ever being dispassionate or cruel. Does the world need Superman? That's the question the movie was asking Clark and asking of all of us. When this movie came out, the answer was no. This is an artful, nuanced post-9/11 Superman. Not this shit. Heroes were real women and men. We had no use for a god. And Clark faces that in this film. Yet despite that self-doubt and the pain he holds within by being a lonely god among men, he still fights for all of us. Lois wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but every day he hears people crying out for one. And when you're faced with death and crime and pain from everywhere, who do you save? Superman did struggle with this in Man of Steel and BVS, but while Snyder's cynical take on Mopey Man considers turning his back on all of us, Singer's Superman believes he can save everyone or die trying. Gee, that sounds like a more recent superhero. Superman Returns asks and answers, who is this man and what does it cost for him to do what he does? This is a completion of a trilogy and the start of something new and amazing that we never got to see. And though this movie isn't perfect, it's an extraordinary Superman film that truly, deeply understands and respects the character and his place in our world. And that's why I had no hesitation giving Superman Returns 5 out of 5. And yes, Superman Returns is better than Man of Steel. Yeah, I said it, and I can hear some of you ardent Man of Steel fans right now.
Wrong!
Superman Returns is boring. He doesn't punch anything. You have terrible taste in film. You're an idiot. What's with your stupid hair? First off, leave my hair out of this. Second off, I'm not the only one with a preference for Superman Returns over Man of Steel. And I know, Rotten Tomatoes lies. Except that it doesn't, because it's an aggregate. But sure, Rotten Tomatoes lies. Man of Steel is better. Except that it's not. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like my opinion? Well, where's your defense, huh? Where's your show? You know what? Let's not have a rational conversation like two adults. Let's just fight it out. Yeah, that's what the people want. That'll be entertaining. That'll put the butts in the seats. I disagree with you, so I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm sorry. Am I being too aggressive and petty? Am I being a little dickish and not all that likable? You know what? This show takes a lot out of me. I'm under a lot of pressure here. It takes a lot to do what I do. And you know what? I don't feel like you people appreciate me. And maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just leave this all behind because I don't owe you people anything.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
All right. Superman's been around for over 80 years. They've been making movies for this guy since the 40s. Man of Steel, Superman Returns, I think what it comes down to is, what do you want from your Superman? The world doesn't want or need a punching, violent bully to show them the way. It doesn't need an omnipotent savior, but it does need a Superman who loves and cherishes humanity. It's why Wonder Woman and Captain America are better Superman movies than the Superman movies we're getting. People complained about the rehash of Superman Returns, but Man of Steel rehashed everything too, but made it gritty, because gritty is better. The origin, the Kents. What do you want from your Superman? On the nose or nuanced? Complex and adult love?
My boss.
Or a damsel in distress to be offered as a prize? An obvious boss battle versus a climactic beating and allegory? Bad filmmaking? Good filmmaking. A hero who represents the goodness in humanity through his actions and selflessness, who actually smiles a few times. A man who is super. Or a brooding, aggressive, paranoid god. A selfish being who flies around in a little red cape and doesn't share himself or his power with mankind. You know, come to think of it, I'd side with this Lex Luthor if he was talking about this Superman. I want a Superman with complex emotions, who knows he is not omnipotent and accepts his role as hero without remorse or regret. A man with love for humanity and the world. A love that he shows in all that he does. A Superman who saves people. A man who knows he cannot control us and doesn't want to. A Superman who represents the best of us, not the worst. And while we do have the heroes that represent all of that, maybe one day we'll get that again from a Superman. Thank you as always for watching. I'm sure more than a few of you have an opinion or two about Man of Steel or Superman Returns, but I want to throw a question at you. What would you have wanted out of a Superman Returns sequel? For me, I think it would have been cool if, bring Zod in, Superman versus Zod, but the big reveal would be that Jason, the Superboy, is Zod's kid. Yeah. So Superman and Zod fight, Superman wins, but Zod can claim a moral victory because Jason the Super Kid is going to grow up and fulfill his legacy, and that would lead nicely to a Superman 3, Superboy versus Superman. His son fighting. Oh, the feels. I have this all written down if anyone's interested in seeing it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, so throw it in the comments below, or you can Twitter page at me at TC's Big Head. And I have to recommend this beautifully done video essay on Superman Returns. It was done by Press Play for their Deep Focus series on the film, and it was a big inspiration for this episode of the show. With that said, that's all for the 1 Minute Rewatch this time. Thank you as always for watching. I am TC DeWitt, and even you have to admit that Kevin Spacey's Gene Hackman impression is way better than Jesse Eisenberg's Heath Ledger Max Landis one. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Oh, so bad.